Hello, my name is Allison Roth, and today I'm going to talk to you about how to perform a mentorship map in preparation for the mentorship session at the 2020 joint meeting of AAPM and COMP. This session will be live on Monday, July 13th at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. A tiny bit about me, because it will affect how I present this subject. I am just finishing up my PhD in medical physics at the University of Wisconsin, and I will be starting a postdoctoral fellowship in August. As a student, I will primarily be focusing on the how to find mentors side of the equation, but this exercise can be performed from either side. I also want to stress that you can and should pause this video at any time to complete the exercise, and I'll walk through an example of my own map to give you an idea of how it should look at the end. Before we get started, I just wanted to mention that this exercise is adapted from the National Center for Faculty Development and Diversity. I highly recommend that you look into whether or not your institution pays for membership, as they have a lot of really great content on mentorship and just so much more. The map presented here was taken from Lehigh University and can be accessed via the link in the description of this video or via this QR code. The first question that we need to ask ourselves is, what does it mean to be a mentor? Does it mean providing research feedback, paper or grant editing, sponsorship for opportunities, emotional support, professional development? Does it mean providing all of these? Do you have a mentor who provides all of these for you, or do you provide them for someone else? No one has time to do all of this. You really need a network of mentors and to be a part of other people's mentorship networks. And this is what we're going to be covering in this exercise. The first step to assembling your mentorship network is to identify the types of networking that you need, as shown in the pink. One category that I don't think is immediately self-explanatory is accountability. This spans from what you need to be doing in order to advance your career, to spending time with your family, or even exercising. Having accountability buddies can help ensure that you are doing what you set out to do every day. Remember, this is a fully customizable map, so you can get rid of categories that you don't need and add other categories that you do. For instance, if you're interested in pursuing a career in the clinic, you may want clinical mentors or mentors specific to a modality. How you fill out these pink boxes is up to you. Pause the video briefly to decide which mentorship categories you need to be mentored in or that you feel you could mentor others in. Next, you should identify the type of mentors within each category that you need. For example, you might want help accessing opportunities at your institution, at a different institution if you're changing jobs, or in a professional society such as AAPM or COMP. These opportunities could be relayed to you by internal mentors, peer mentors, or external mentors, and therefore mentors in each category is critical. For a more concrete example, I'll use my own experience as a graduate student transitioning to a postdoc position. So during graduate school, building journal editor mentors was not my top priority, since my advisors could use their mentorship network to help fill this gap. The next step is to start listing people who you rely on for these different types of mentorship. For example, these are the people who first came to mind when I first learned about this exercise. Go ahead and pause the video and fill in your most obvious mentors. Now that you have a partially filled in map, identify the holes or gaps that you still need to fill. Here I show my completely unfilled categories with red arrows and my partially filled categories with purple arrows. This is also a good time to identify people from whom you're asking too much. For instance, if you have the same person listed in every category, you're probably asking too much of them. Remember that part of the reason that you have 3 or more people listed per category is so that you can spread out your needs over your whole network. Can I review a paper for you once or twice a year? Absolutely. Can I review a paper for you every month? Probably not. So on my own map, I have Robert listed in quite a few categories. I think that this is appropriate right now while he's my thesis advisor, but once I move on to my postdoc, I will probably need to find some new mentors. Finally, brainstorm who could provide you with the mentorship that you need. I like to approach this step by making a list of my larger professional network, which is easily compiled with the help of LinkedIn and Twitter, and then I can add people to each category. Pause the video and take a moment to do this now. If you can't think of anyone to use, ask your existing network to connect you with more people for individual categories. I have 2 examples here for how I'm adding people to my mentorship map. In the first case, I was just starting to look for postdoc positions and was generally seeking advice. This led me not only to finding new professional development mentors, which is what I was looking for, and access to opportunities which I wasn't. The second example is a fictional email from me to an AAPM contact, Janelle. In the case of seeking new mentors, be specific about what you need from them up front and how much time you expect that it will take. This pandemic is a great time to set up informal, short virtual meetings with new mentors. Take a moment to identify at least one gap in your map and make a note of a specific action to take this week to fill that gap. Because I'm a student, I have largely presented this from the mentee's point of view. I want to stress, however, that just because you're a student, postdoc, resident, or someone early in their career, you can still mentor others. The most obvious example of these would be peer mentors, because when you come across an opportunity, you know how badly your fellow students, postdocs, residents, or early career people could really use that opportunity. This is an example of how beneficial it can be to be a mentor, especially early in your career, as peer-to-peer mentoring tends to be more mutually beneficial compared to a senior person mentoring a junior person, though this is not without benefits. For example, every paper that you critically review will improve your own writing. What do you need that could be mutually beneficial to someone else? How do you pass along opportunities that you run across? And to whom do you send them? Take a moment to reflect on how you can mentor others, no matter how new you are in the field. On the other hand, maybe you're further along in your career. Do you still need a mentor? Yes. Keep in mind that this is a living document. When you're first putting this together, you're going to forget people, and as you move through your career, you'll meet new people. And so set a time every year or every quarter in order to update your map. It doesn't have to take long. I encourage you to work through this exercise a second time in the reverse role. If you completed this first from the mentee's perspective, try completing it from what mentorship you can offer others, or vice versa. Thank you so much for going through this exercise with me. Don't forget to join us live for the rest of the session on Monday, July 13th at 4:30 p.m. or connect with us on Twitter. We will be posting information and using the hashtag MedPhysMentor to continue this conversation.